Just in time for the pause, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Suns fan here with Cinderin. Falcons have yet to lose a single game in this second group stage. Pretty damn impressive. And I have to say, a lot of these games, they're down at some point as well. And this patch, it just feels like it's so hard to come back from a laning stage loss, but this team has been extremely consistent at being able to do it. And it's just their execution. There's some sloppy points in the last game, but against any other team so far, they have just looked better.
Yep. It's going to be a matter of what the panel talked about. It's going to be a matter of pacing here for BetBoom, which you could argue is a little bit of a concern based on what we saw in the game just prior to this, that Falcons, the time of the game that they really start kicking it up a notch is where BetBoom should, in theory, be having the hardest time this game. Which is exactly around that Radiance, Alk, Kunkka, Ags timing, 15 to 20 minute mark that BSJ was talking about. This is where Falcons can truly bring themselves ahead in this game and then never look back. BetBoom's core combination here is the TB plus OD. I find kind of greedy. But we've seen duos like that work quite well some of the time. Nice arrow here from Toronto. Tokyo will ensure the rune. They're actually going to do some decent damage to crit as well. Pulling him away here. So let's see if BetBoom can get across that point. Definitely, if the game goes late enough, I really like their chances. So.
Sorry, who? I wasn't listening.
That's okay. Try to guess.
Well, you sounded like you were trying to root for the underdog, which is BetBoom.
Okay. Nice arrow by BetBoom.
Yep. Good call, Cinderin. Do you agree with BSJ that the TB feels a little bit out of place in this lineup? He is a TB master, of course.
I mean, not necessarily out of place, but I think the pairing with OD and then considering you are against this bat is a little bit concerning. I think the reason BSJ feels this way is because of the OD pick, right? I don't think it would look the same to him if this OD was, if it was a tiny mid and they ended up picking another 4, or if they picked a different pacing type mid than the OD. Because I think something, when you just look at this lineup, I can see why it feels a little bit off. I share the same concern, but I don't think it might just be a slightly outdated perspective as well, and we're just a little bit sticking to a mindset that might be, a couple months old here about whether this is likely to work. Because greedier lineups have been doing better in this tournament than I would say the last couple of months.
Other than Enchantress has a 4.
Yeah, she's not greedy though.
You don't think so?
I don't know.
She builds greedy.
Yeah, but the hero isn't.
Okay.
I think maybe part of the problem, we were talking about this the other day, part of the reason Ench's win rate isn't so good is that Ench is itemizing for herself instead of the team.
Yeah.
A lot of supports in this patch are buying team items like drums, Force Staff, Glimmer, Greaves, and a lot of the Enches we see buy Dragonlance, and they buy Mage Slayer. Or maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe you're just not, because what if the enemy team just doesn't go on you then? Then what? You're not going to help your teammates. You can't protect them. They become the target. Your damage isn't significant enough for it to really matter. So maybe that's where they need to change
it does feel significant enough, though. Yeah, it's a strange one. I can't remember a time in Dota history that a hero's had such a bad win rate and we just can't figure out why.
No, it is really
odd.
Bizarre. It's fair to say today that it should have won its game.
I feel like I've seen that game 100 times the last month.
You would imagine some of the losses Ench falls behind and things just go wrong, right? It's not always doing great.
Yeah, not always. As Nightfall is getting burned by crit. Fairy Fire pops Torrent from Amar. First blood crit. Now Toronto Tokyo does have the 3 leaps, and it doesn't matter. The Tidebringer from Amar will snipe him out. And already the offlane going quite well for Falcons as a result of that.
I don't think I've seen Crit and Amar lose a lane this tournament.
It's
have they lost
quite the combo.
Have they lost a lane?
I mean, maybe, but I don't actively remember it.
This is even one that on paper isn't inherently obvious that they're going to find kills in, but they just double killed in the lane with Bat Kunkka level 2.
Yeah.
Right? Just finding the little moments of opportunity and absolutely maximizing it, and this already will lead to a great start for Amar, who It's really been fascinating to see how fast he has improved. He was being criticized, I want to say half a year to a year ago, for having too small of a hero pool. Now at this point, he's playing a variety of heroes. He's not always only going selfish items, and he's just always finding very big impact in the game. So he has really improved, and I think he feels very much at home in this team with the teammates he's playing with.
Yeah.
So
it just feels like you can't really ban enough heroes against this team.
And I think perhaps that is something that other teams need to stop trying to do so much, perhaps. And maybe a better way of targeting this team is to ban out other key heroes. I just don't know if you have enough bans. I think their hero pools are quite wide.
I think every team is still trying to figure out how the meta works in the draft phase against a specific team, because they're just so unique. And I mean, so far, Miero is doing quite well in his lane. That's the one hero for BetBoom that's definitely holding his own right now. And I know I brought it up before, but I do like the fact that Miero was picked up as opposed to Pure. Not that Pure was not good, but just felt like a lot of position ones on the same team. A lot of cores. A little bit too greedy.
They maybe had too much of the same thing. Yeah, exactly.
And Miero just plays pretty much every offlaner, and he's extremely solid.
And it's also because I think the way you play position 1 in this patch, in this current meta, isn't well aligned with greedy offlaners. That doesn't mean that in a few months from now that someone like Pure, who's currently playing carry, if he plays offlane again, then maybe it's going to be outstanding, right?
Save with the Avalanche. Snake King gets hoof stomped now. Will die. Skeeter, though, coming in with the concoction. Toronto, Tokyo. The arrow not going to hit. Save. Still dies. So results in a 1-for-1. And in terms of the Alchemist games, Cinderin, since you're known for that. Not playing it, of course, but commentating it. How does this game look for the old Alk boy?
Quite good, given that he has a good start, I think. We'll see if Amar manages to outrange
Avalanche is there.
It's a big kill.
Toss back, also there. Amar is dead. Nice pick off from BetBoom. Much needed.
For it, but they get it. Yeah, so Alk, I think, in a game like this, Alk playing from ahead and with momentum can definitely play well into these cores. It's concerning down the line because Terrorblade and OD both do very well against Alk, especially when his BKB runs out. OD is going to eat him. But the timing that Falcons are playing for actually works quite well against TBOD. So it's just a matter of pulling off executing the strategy, which has not seemed to be a problem for Falcons so far in this tournament, to be fair. It's been very much on point. GPK.
Rain.
Oh dear.
Link.
He already used his banish.
The OD. That'll be the death of GPK. Malrine takes it for himself. Of course, kind of an old school counter to OD. As he's going to go high ground and find himself a little Toronto Tokyo action. Riding on his little bunny rabbit. He'll be forced to use all his leaps.
Okay.
Get out with just a sliver of HP. That's funny, we were just talking about that interaction with Static Link on the Astral Imprisonment. Get to actually see it this time. Stampede, save. Gets off the Avalanche, but is frostbitten.
That arrow was not even really close.
Yeah, if the hitboxes were about 10 times as large, maybe.
Still better hitboxes than CS2, of course.
Yep, that's right. Actually, the hitboxes are fine. It's more the tick rate, like I've told you. I'm trying to educate you here on this Counter-Strike things.
It's fine. I'm just trying to appeal to my co-caster here.
Okay, appreciate that.
You really like when people shit on your favorite game of all time.
Miero, not quite done with the Helm. As Snake King doing a lot of work in the jungle with these stacks. That is going to be very juicy for Skeeter.
Yeah, BetBoom, the question is if they're going to scout this out now. Save is going to walk up here, see it. Well, maybe try to steal some of it.
Yeah, he does have the Avatos to try to steal if he wants. Concoction's coming for him as Snake King coming from the south. So the Tiny ends up being just... Oh, wait a second. Actually, might get away.
Early on the frostbite there. Still going to die.
Yeah, will end up dropping. So ends up being a creep for Skeeter to farm up along with the stack. Worth a little bit more, though.
That's kind of even, though. He stole a decent chunk of the stack, and they needed to work for like 20 seconds to kill him. So that's time not spent farming after Skeeter could have cleaned up that stack. But still, the fight happens at a good time for Snaking to get in another stack here at 9 minutes.
Yeah, so it all worked out.
That is still going to happen for them. And another stack there from Crit. Skeeter, fair to say, it's going to get very rich this game.
Is there any, I personally haven't seen it yet, but is there any alternative to Radiance on the Alk these days?
Not really, I think. It's just too good. This item has been buffed a couple of times, right? So it's even better now than it was last patch, when everyone was also buying it. So,
yeah, more evasion. Well, I guess it's not evasion, it's mischance. Not quite the same.
Mischance is much better.
Yep.
Because it also works for your teammates.
That is correct, Cinderin. Very good. So we'll see if Miro ends up wanting to actually finish off the Veil first, or if he wants to get super active. I think it was one game we saw where he went Helm of Iron Will into Blink.
Yep.
But not sure if this... You think that this is a game where they need to get active relatively early to give some space to the TB?
I think that's what they were hoping not to be necessary, but if Falcons are going to farm at this alarming rate, I think you're going to have to try to put a stop to this Alk play. And then, what's your combo? Centaur, Tiny Mirana, like maybe?
Malrain had an idea that something was coming for him. And it will be
Got this one.
the 4 members of BetBoom.
It's a good kill, which is going to give them some momentum on the mid tower. This timing is particularly good at minute 10, so well planned out. See if Falcons even try to defend this tower at all, or if they're just going to keep turning this into farming time.
Well,
they will
these
defend.
TPs are coming. Amar with the X. Torrent connects onto the OD. Flame Break back into the boat as well. Will also proc GPK. He's going to heal up a decent amount, but now gets frostbitten into the lasso and even a freezing field. So down goes the OD. So it will be essentially a trade for the mid laners.
Middle tower is under attack.
And now Falcons applying a little bit of pressure to this tier 1 as the arrow will take out the siege. And
Amar was thinking about tanking it, you could see, but he had second thoughts. He wasn't sure if he was actually going to die for that.
Seeds of Serenity does feel good to stand on. But the tier 1 tower will be defended for the time being as Nightfall jungling away. Crit trying to be a bit of a bother. Yeah, Miro able to get the tier 1 top though by himself. But that's of course going to be at the cost of essentially the Radiance now coming online.
11-minute Radiance.
Yeah.
Kunga completes his Blade Mail, which is really good this game against OD, against Tiny, Centaur. It's a very strong timing that Falcons are approaching here.
Almost 2 minutes faster than
this is quick.
That's ridiculous.
And it's not like he hasn't got any build-up items either. Like sometimes this can be misleading if you have like brown boots or whatever, but he has a full wand and a raindrop, so he's like super far ahead of the curve here. Skeeter, those stacks plus the 2 kills will do that for you.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna keep it rolling. Not too much in this triangle for now, but they made a lot of other stacks that were easily accessible early on for the Alk. 12, holy shit, what's this?
That is
everyone, that real?
Everyone getting in on it, huh?
They've stacked 31 camps, minute 12?
That's pretty good.
Wait, did I do the math right?
I didn't even, I just assumed you were right. You were very confident. Do the math again.
How is this 31 camps, minute 12?
22, 31, yeah. Good job.
Wow, that's incredible. That's next level liquid numbers.
That's probably a record for this tournament at least.
I would think so.
As we get the casual pause.
Yep.
Wait, who paused this one? Was it BetBoom? Oh man, BetBoom, they're being good boys today. Have to give them credit. Falcons are the ones having issues.
Interesting look there at the win probability. I don't know if I agree with that one. Falcons ahead by 5k minute 13. I know it's Alk, so it's a bit skewed, but the win expectancy is 61% for the Radiant right now.
Huh.
I think it really likes some of the core matchups and the expected outcome of the Dire not playing clutch and clean. But what we know from Falcons is that they are likely to convert this. But let's see if BetBoom can weather the storm and get there. What I will agree with the win expectancy on, if you can think of it that way, is if Falcons make a key mistake, I don't think the game will swing back in their favor. So definitely under the pressure of executing cleanly. So far, so good.
I mean, recent history would disagree with you based on Falcons' performance at this tournament.
That they won't execute cleanly?
No, if they don't execute cleanly.
Oh, that they would then lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they haven't necessarily put themselves in this exact type of position in many of their games. I think in most of their drafts, they've had better late-game conditions than I would argue they have here. But it might also just be my old brain talking that this lineup will struggle in the late game against the Radiant, perhaps. Like, Razor is better than it used to be late game, Kunkka is better late game than it used to be, so...
Radiant's middle tower.
The fact that Amar is second in net worth as the offlaner right now is a huge boost to Falcons. A save, gonna get caught off guard. Arrow splits the uprights. And with this blink on Skeeter, he's gonna look to get involved in all likelihood, as the tier 1 tower is relatively low. Well, we probably will try to take it out with this wave.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
See how aggressive they actually want to be here. There's a counter blink though from Miero. The Centaur looking to get involved now.
Radiant are scanning.
Zamar has his blade melt in tow, and I would assume it's just the old Aghanim Scepter afterwards. He's already halfway if he wants to go for it. Lasso finds its target into the Frostbite. Freezing field. Stampede won't. Okay, Toronto, Tokyo. First to fall. Will be a trade, though, for snaking. So 1 for 1, but the X onto the OD. GPK dead. Double kill from Malrine.
Oh, my God.
And they're not done yet. Save gonna be the next.
Did Skitter
with
just
Miero, potentially the 4th. Skeeter, I assume, got the double concoction.
Yeah, I think he got a double concoction off camera there. Oh boy.
And Falcons again doing what they do best, which is winning games.
And it's the little things there as well, right? GPK is coming in to try to banish the original lasso target, and then Crit pushes them away a little bit. Or rather, he didn't lasso, he just knocked them back into the freezing field. So OD had to walk that extra 200 range to try to get the Astral off. Doesn't get it off in time. Then he gets caught in limbo himself, and he ends up dying too. It's very, very good stuff from Falcons. You're going to see the replay here. So this is after, but he has already been knocked back here. The Mirana into the Maiden. And therefore OD, after Astraling the Razor, will just be pulled back by Amar. And there, those two heroes. You just move the camera down, and you're like, uh-oh. Out of nowhere, Skeeter arrives with a double.
Yep, and with that, Skeeter farm amplifies even more, if that's even a possible thing. He's already close to halfway to his BKB. The smiles from Crit. Pretty cool to see Crit get back to this type of status. I mean, a lot of talk from his tweet from the beginning of the year, the Dota year, that is.
He's always had it.
No. Yeah, but the fact that he has proven it so fast after the fact is pretty crazy. NA holding him back, as they tend to do. Crit gets the last
early
target.
Concoction, but oh, nice flame break timing.
Skeeter with yet another kill to his name, as this lead has now ballooned to 9K. Like you said, it is an out game, so I mean, it's still, even if it was 5K, still pretty big at the 17-minute mark.
Dire are scanning. Radiant are scanning.
Gaben will concede and say, okay. Okay, Falcons, you can have 59% now.
Okay, good job.
I would probably give them a bit more than that, but let's see how this develops.
Top tower is under attack.
Gaben generally tends to be quite clever.
Amar almost done with his Ags.
Light Collector for crit. Great neutral item on Bat Rider, because it gives move speed.
Nightfall gets X'd in his own jungle.
No save
Boat
available.
Is there no Sunder?
Oh.
Because they have the perma-stun.
Malrine actually BKB'd there. I don't know.
I didn't want to get sundered, but yeah, there were still
He was literally
targets
next to another Sunder target.
Yeah.
So, oh well.
Better
They
safe
get the
than
kill.
sorry. Now Skeeter's got his golden item.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Miero. Save is in the tree. He's going to get the Avatos onto Crit. Not enough for the kill as Crit gets to the high ground. Flame break. And Save just slowed to an absolute crawl. Stampede, but an instant frostbite from Snake King. Miero, counter initiation. Does find a pick off onto Crit.
Looks like they can't get the vision. Torrent
Storm
will not do it.
Not going to find any connection. Blind Torrent itself, no. I have to say, as Toronto Tokyo will die to Skeeter, I know not a lot of, it's not as flashy, maybe, but Snake King has played unbelievable this year. I know that he won TI relatively recently, but I feel like in this last few months, on this team specifically, he has really shined.
I mean,
Picking CM and Marana and actually having standout games.
I think on all of their positions in Team Falcons right now, they're top 3 in the world. Like every individual player in their position. It's just hard to really put a finger on one of them where we're like, okay, you know, they're just exceptionally good.
Yep, Hoof Stomp was there from here, but it only hit the CM. It was very scary anyway, as we just mentioned. Mar there with a casual X Torrent into Runaway, Taunt Away. Good stuff. Skeeter. Concoction. They don't layer it properly as Crit's actually getting taken down by the illusions. Down he goes. There's the BKB pop to force, or to not allow Nightfall to get off the Sunder, and that leads to his ultimate demise.
Remember when that pierced BKB?
Yes, I did. It was very stupid.
Parablade was very good for those 13 years. And then they finally figured it out.
Well,
sometimes it just takes a while to get the right idea, you know?
I don't think there's been
Toronto, Tokyo.
X, Toronto, Tokyo. They have just so many lockdown abilities and just no way to get away. Anyway, back to my very important point. There's 2 heroes I have in mind that have flip-flopped ultimates consistently, but it's really old now.
Yeah.
That's the last time they did it. Can you name the 2?
Flip-flopped ulties.
Flip-flop.
What does that mean?
Means the ult became a basic ability, then back to an ult, and then back again, or something to that effect. There's 2 heroes that I have in mind. Going back, of course, since I'm an old, ancient, decrepit man, back to Dota 1.
Oh, that's tough just off the top of my head to think of that.
Oh, one of them's in the game, so that should help a bit. Really?
Wow.
Hang
on, let me just look through the heroes.
Okay. I thought this would be really easy, at least for one of them.
Wait, am I stupid?
Yes.
Right, rhetorical question.
Too late. Can't say that after I've answered. Chat,
you can I just not remember this?
I guess so. Wow. It's really impressive because we were literally just talking about the hero.
Well, Sunder never used to be a regular ability.
Yes, it did.
What?
Yes.
When was Sunder a normal spell?
So, Metamorphosis was the ult at one point.
When was this?
Dota 1.
I remember he
flip-flopped.
I remember before
he had a life drain as well.
Before Reflection, he had life drain.
Yeah.
That you could at one point you could cast it while walking.
I don't remember that part.
You could channel it onto an enemy and then run with the life drain.
Okay.
I don't remember Sunder not being the ult. Are you positive?
You're making me question myself now.
Genuinely
as we're going to find a connection, so shut your mouth as we get into a team fight. Miero spotted.
Nice team fight. 3v1. A true team fight for the ages.
I mean,
and the 3 will win.
It's the closest we're going to get here. As BetBoom now on the run.
All right, what's the other one? Let's see if you got one right.
Man, I'm going to have to check this one up now.
You might be right, actually.
The other one is Clinks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Clinks is definitely true. Death Pact used to be the ult. And that has swapped
It's been
twice,
several times
I think.
now. Yeah.
Twice in Dota 2's lifespan, I think.
15K lead here for Falcons as we do trivia that may or may not even be correct. Just really impressive display from the casters here. That's why we're paid the big bucks. Skeeter working on a basher now to go along with his newly picked up Assault Kuros. Is it Kuros? Is it Kuros? Kuros? I don't actually know.
Courier ass.
Okay. Yeah, to buy Assault, I always type in ass in
Yep.
the buy menu.
It's okay. You can also write AC. It's a little bit faster.
Does that work now?
Yeah.
Didn't used to.
Always did.
That's a lie.
Even
Fake
back
news.
in Dota 1, back when Thunder was a normal spell, you could write AC.
Back when you couldn't type in the shop in Dota 1? Yeah, that definitely worked. Right, the Roche will go the way of Falcons as they are just continuing to display their dominance here at this tournament. I'm actually going to Alt-Tab on my computer just to see what their record was in the first group stage.
I think they were 9-5.
So 9-5 overall. They had 2 series go 2-0 and then 5 splits. And then since then, something has awoken the beast.
Yep.
If they end up winning this game, which they are definitely favored to do right now, they'll be 8-0 in this second group stage.
AUI looked at the games they lost, he looked what neutral items they took, and then he said, guys, I did the math, you need more light collectors and more rattle cages.
Yep.
And Falcon said, okay, boss. And since then, they've been winning their games.
Analyzing the neutrals for you. You gotta get the light collectors.
No offense to AUI, of course. That's just a general nerd impression.
That's the butler voice.
No, it's not the same.
That's pretty
The
close.
butler is like,
Oh,
wait, it is kind of
What
the
was
same.
the difference?
masterpiece.
Yeah, you're right. That's the same character. My bad, everybody.
Radiant's bottom tower is falling.
Aegis on Skeeter. His save is just trying to cut the waves, delay. At what point
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
do BetBoom just force a fight? Or I guess they just have to wait for high ground, right? But the problem is, like, this first Roche isn't really meant,
Dire's top tower
or this first
is under
Aegis isn't really
attack.
meant for high ground. It's just to get to your outer towers, extend your lead as Miero is found out by Crit.
Damn, that's a lot of TPs. The whole rainbow's arriving.
Oh,
Get
he's out.
It's a very nice play from Miero to disengage from this. He's space created right there. Falcons looking for opportunities around the map, but currently BetBoom playing a good game of keep away. And it opens up for some farming time for the Terrorblade as well as the OD. But man, GPK, considering this was the overall last pick of the draft, they did not get much bang for their buck with this hero.
Nope.
They took a lot of time to pick it.
I feel like this hero has been a pretty big hit or miss at the tournament.
Yeah, it's
Not
pretty
much middle
polarizing.
ground. And we haven't really been seeing the, I don't know what's changed exactly, but the Ags build, which was pretty popular a few months ago, is not really a thing.
Yeah.
Maybe like for extreme late game situations, but it was like second item pickup in a lot of the games from not that long ago.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty good too. Maybe not second item, but like third or fourth. But even then, the teams have
Radiant's
not
middle
been
tower is under
necessarily
attack.
rating it that high.
Dire's structures
Skater
are
will
fortified.
start poking away at the tier 2 tower.
Malrine on the hunt, along with Snake King.
Dire's top
Nightfall
tower
in
is
the
under
tree line.
attack.
Shh, yeah, he's out. Miero gets lassoed though. We'll use the BKB, and they don't have any Pierce.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
X-Mark would not quite work there. The BKB is fresh, and it's a long duration, so Amar doesn't even try for it. Chano Tokyo forced away. Moonlight Shadow. Is he? Yes,
He's out. This used to kill people in Fountain, by the way, based on how long it traveled.
Yeah.
Little trivia for people out there. Concoction's coming for him. Kaboom! Okay, Amar now. More bad manner pauses. Getting some revenge on BetBoom for their ridiculous amount of pauses in the first 2 days of this group stage. Minute and a half on the Aegis, so would expect this to be a tier 2 tower and maybe slightly poke the high ground, but probably just a tier 2 and retreat.
If you had to put this music to something that wasn't a pause in Dota, what would you put it to?
It would be like a trivia show, like
trivia show.
Jeopardy type thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Either that or like a really gruesome crime murder show. Either one.
For
They're
some
pretty
reason,
similar.
this really reminds me of like a Flash game where you're an agent and you're breaking in to steal something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see that. Like a Metal Gear Solid type of thing?
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, I don't know why I'm thinking Flash. I don't know if it reminds me of a very specific game, but just came to mind. I really like this, though.
That's good.
It's a good vibe.
How are you liking the Dota?
It's better when it's playing. Here we go.
All right. So BetBoom trying to wait out this Aegis. Kind of a lucky avalanche there.
Yeah. Stunning the wave.
I've done a lot of that. Blink
that.
into stun. Just happens sometimes. High ground ward from Crit. As you can see, the sentry, though, is placed. He's going to get Yules instantly. Skeeter, they're diving really deep.
Missing the arrow
away.
from the Yule, though. Uncharacteristic from Toronto, Tokyo.
Yeah, they get rid of the sentry now. Wonder if I mean, based on the fact that that was killed, they can assume that there is a ward here.
Skeeter very strong with this AC.
Yep.
You imagine he's going to wait for his next chemical rage and then do it again.
Well, but the Aegis will be down by then. We'll see how risky they want to get.
Oh, Nightfall's actually going to give up the wisdom. So that's going to be a yoink for the Alk.
Okay.
Just walks straight over minute 28 and just takes it away. BetBoom quite defensively postured on the map. They're going to try to push out bottom at the very least a little bit with their OD. Isn't really... Is he approaching anything meaningful? BKB almost completed on him. The arrow is quite far away from the Shivas.
Invisibility.
Terrorblade working on the Butterfly, which is also either that or Manta. We'll see what the order is going to be. Gonna take him a while. Haven't really seen BetBoom try anything.
No, not really.
In the entire game, I want to say, almost.
Okay, this is interesting. They don't see each other, but GPK is the big kill if they can. Oh, okay.
Didn't get the banish in time.
On to save. He will fall. Gets off a nice toss, but eventually Malrine will take him out. So 15k lead now for Falcons, and I think the story here, at least so far, it's not over yet. I mean, it's looking like it might be, but you never know. We've seen crazier things, of course, but the OD just hasn't paid off, and Skeeter just got a ridiculous amount of stacks. And that has snowballed things. Mira with the Stampede, but yeah, not able to find anyone. So a Stampede used for nothing.
Maybe they can get him here, but no, they're not going to go for it. Falcons are pincering them.
Yep, and here comes Skeeter slapping away at the OD. GPK gets off the BKB, trying to run away. Flame Break, they have some magic damage. Any physical to follow it up? GPK actually survives a torrent. Ooh, just out of range. Looks like he will probably live, but he's already used his BKB, which means he's in no fighting shape. Fortification from BetBoom, which means they'll have another once this tower goes down. So that will delay a little bit more, but you can see Falcons playing it a bit safe. No longer with the Aegis. There's a damage rune top as Amar. He's all alone right now. That is going to be a very good pickoff for BetBoom. So a little bit sloppy here from Amar. As the rest of his team was nowhere near. You can see they just spread the map. They got the hell out of Dodge.
Finally. When's the last BetBoom kill in this game?
It's been a while, for sure. It was probably on a support as well.
Minute 19. So, been a good 11 minutes since they killed Crit with their Terrorblade, and that was a trade.
Yeah.
I think.
Sounds familiar.
So, yeah. Quiet times. Don't really blame them for it. I think it's really, really difficult to get out on the map against this Falcons team when you're at this big of a deficit. So I'm not going to sit here and say that BetBoom are playing too passively or anything. It is just a very difficult game after the first 15 minutes. At the very least for them, they haven't lost any racks yet. And you're probably going to have to defend your base another time against an Aegis. I don't think you can stop Falcons getting that one. Nice dodge from Miero here. Anticipating the rotation for himself, and will run south.
So we're talking about the Ags on OD, and that's actually what he's building next. So didn't actually go for the full Hurricane Pike, but has the Witchblade BKB Force Staff and then the defensive Ags. Which, for this game, you just got to survive. If you're probably going to be in your base for a good amount of these high ground pushes, unless you can contest Roche. Zamar will deward a bit. But this is a Falcons have a very scary Roche team, especially with the Kunkka in particular. But even freezing field in the trees or on the other side of Roche pit, Bat Rider being able to terrain walk. Save. Use Moonlight Shadow just to get away, it looks like. Perhaps push out bottom just a bit. Toronto, Tokyo going for some aggressive wards. As the gem.
Yeah, I think what he's hoping with this ward is to see a moment where Alk is farming on the right-hand side so that they can smoke either to kill him or smoke across the map and kill his team. But Skitter with the travels too probably has to be the target himself at this point. Otherwise, he will be joining onto any play. As he is now building up an Ags.
I can't wait.
Probably going to just put on, I would imagine...
Well, Malrine would make sense to some degree, but it's not like the Refresher Ags build is safe. Going for the initiation, Miero not hitting the hoof stomp at all. They do pick off the Bat Rider, who buys back instantly. Malrine now with his BKB. Focus is on the TB. He's dead. Save will be next. Double kill for Amar. As the Boots of Travel 2 being used by Skeeter to join this fight. He's going to get the Abyssal Blade onto Miero. Gets off the hoof stomp, but completely surrounded and will eventually be brought down as well. So they get the 1 kill on the support Bat, who buys back instantly, and they lose 3.
And Nightfall didn't get to play this fight. This Torrent into
Torrent Storm.
Concoction, into Boat.
Yeah.
Never got his BKB off.
That's rough. That's where an SNY would have been quite good, in all likelihood. And Falcons now looking to try to finish this game potentially. This is going to be a lane in bottom, and they will certainly go mid next. They cannot get Megas, though. There is a tier 2 standing on the top side. And I don't think they push fast enough to even try to go for Throne anyway. So they will back away with this monstrous lead that they've accumulated over the course of this game. He's only 1,000 away from that Ags. Do you think it's going to be the Razor? Could be the... I mean, we've seen them give it to Bat Rider before for that double lasso potential.
Yeah, that is definitely an option.
Probably will go to the Razor.
Could also give it to Crystal Maiden.
Is that the Frostbite in...
It's the last hero in their team that doesn't have an Ags.
What?
It's the last hero in their team that doesn't already have an Ags. So that is his last option.
Good point. That is technically true.
It gives you the moving freezing field that can also frostbite.
Yeah. Okay, this is a good move from BetBoom. If it gets punished here, this could just be the end of the game. And Amar, Torrent, Boat is coming as well. Miero has to TP out with the BKB. He's actually going to cancel it as GPK gets caught out. He's dead for 60. And that is a huge punishment as Roche is not interested in this fight at all. Nightfall surrounded, bashed, and killed.
Well, it could have been a good play.
I think you do need to do something to this effect.
I mean, sure. You got to take a risk, but Falcons were ready for it. And Falcons will force out.
Well, Miero might live, actually.
Probably the GG here. 30 seconds on OD.
That's Amar asking, are you going to GG yet, bro?
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And they finally do call it as the tier 4s are getting hit. So Falcons remain undefeated in this group stage number 2, and they just look like they're on another level.